So, you're about to create a podcast. That's awesome. Podcasting is storytelling, but with sound. It's your chance to inform, to entertain, and connect with an audience, all through using your voice, your creativity, and a good plan with your team. But before you hit record, let's talk about what separates a really great podcast from just a recording of people talking. You see, every podcast starts with a story, or at least a really good question or a mission. What is it you want listeners to learn, to feel, or to think about your episode? You write down your theme, and then you plan 3 to 5 open-ended questions to guide the conversation. And these are questions like, what inspired you, or what was your biggest challenge? Because those spark way better stories than, did you like that? Think of your questions as your map. They really keep the conversation going in the right direction. Now, as a team, you'll have to talk about the format of your podcast before you start recording anything, because that format can really drive what your questions look like and in what order you ask questions and who you interview. Let's talk quickly about your team. Now, there can be lots of different makeups of a team. But a typical podcasting team has some really specific roles. You'll want to talk about these as a team. Who's going to be your host? The host is really the person that is the voice guiding the listener. Who's going to be your guest? Are they a storyteller? Are they an expert? Are they a funny color person that's giving some unique characteristics to the podcast? And you may even want to think about who the producer is. This is somebody who doesn't necessarily talk as much, but they certainly are important in planning, in making sure that the audio is good, in recording, and even in editing. So it's best you decide who's doing what before you ever start recording. That really makes your podcast sound polished and professional, even if you're just recording it in a classroom. Think you're ready to record? Well, let's hold on 1 second. Let's talk about sound. It's really important that you find a quiet space for recording. You turn off fans, maybe avoid hallways, silence those phones, and put that iPad close enough to the capture really clear sound for those you're interviewing. But don't put it so close that it really distorts the sound. Before you do your final recording, you want to make sure you do a test recording. One quick line, something that makes sure the levels are good and people can be heard. Good audio makes the difference between I want to keep listening and I can't hear this. And then remember that a really good podcast has a rhythm to it. Maybe there's some short music or an intro or a tagline or even a sound effect that pulls it all together. So think about using background music or sounds, but use them sparingly. The goal is really to support the story, not to overwhelm your listener. And remember, be clear and confident in your voice. That's way better than fancy editing later. Because podcasting isn't about perfection. It is about preparation. Plan your story, write your questions, create a calm recording space that's easy to hear, and bring your personality to the mic and to the podcast. Because every great story starts with a voice, and yours might be the one someone remembers.